Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about issue number 9 of Uncanny X-Men from the Ashes, written by Gail Simone and art by Andre Bresson. But before we dive into the story, I want to ask you a favor. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment to help the channel grow. So with that said, this issue of Uncanny X-Men opened in an abandoned warlock tunnel below Graymalkin's prison, with a Mr. Trask walking with a high-value donor. And as they walked, they brought up how after the collateral damage debacle, they thought they hadn't a kroner of black bag assets to give them. Because as they explained, the mutant threat in the donor's country is scattered and fractured and has gone underground. So with that said, Trask went on to say that they admit that they were late to recognize the changes needed for their customer base. And as for the old Mark IV Sentinels, they were for a time when a message needed to be sent. A message that states that their government was strong and armed. And then Trask went on to say that they have improved upon the past and created something they could use for a more urban solution, something more lightweight and easy to transport. Something that has unparalleled tracking capabilities and is loyal to death. Now to that, the donor brought up how he thought all the Sentinel factories were shut down. To which Trask went on and replied by saying, well, that is what they wanted to project to the world. Because their newest project is the Sentinel Hounds. Now at first the donor took offense to this, because he had 2 dogs himself. But that is when Trask went on to say, yes, everyone wants the mutant controlled, and this is a safe, humane response. And then he went on to say, think about it, your country could be free of mutants and with no blood on his hands, for these new Sentinels are silent, safe, and highly motivated hunting machines. They have enhanced intelligence and learning capability, and they're even carbon-friendly. The heart of a bloodhound is equivalent to a small battalion. So with this glowing recommendation, the donor then went on to ask if they could be programmed to hunt non-mutant targets like political targets. To which Trask responded by saying they make hardware and they don't tell people what to do with it. So with that said, we see the Bloodhounds jump into action and start to attack the man before them. Now almost instantly they attempted to shut down the rogue Sentinels, but to their horror, the Sentinels turned themselves back on. And within moments, the hounds ripped the poor man apart, leaving blood everywhere. So with the man killed, Trask immediately jumped into damage control mode and started to take the blame for the beta model not being ready. But as he was talking, the donor cut him off and asked how soon could he have 4 dozen units available. Now following that we transition over to a fire pit back at the Haven house, and when we get there, we see the Louisiana's X-Men cheering because they survived another night. And as the night went on, eventually their conversation switched over to the well-being of the kids. Because even if you put the prophecy that one of them is going to end all mutant kind aside, Logan could still smell that all of them are keeping their own secrets. And because of those numerous secrets, Logan finds it hard to trust them fully. And right as he was saying that, Ransom sat back in the woods dropping in on their conversation and left before he could hear the rest. Because Logan then went on to say, but that ain't the main problem is they don't trust themselves. So to fix this, Rogue said each one of them should take one of the kids under their wing and act as their mentor. And during that process, they could get closer. But they have to act as an adult figure for them, not as a buddy. Because during this time in their lives, the kids need it just as much as they do. Following that, Rogue tells Jubilee that she should mentor Death Dream. And then Rogue went on to say, they took these kids into battle twice already and they don't even know all they can do yet. They don't even know for sure how they got here, they don't even have a school, and at best they have a swamp. Now with the mention of the school, Logan sarcastically compares her to Scott and Charles. So after that halfway insult was leveled against her, we then fast forward a bit and jump over to Jubilee approaching Death Dream, and as they kicked it off, we transitioned over to Kurt and Gambit looking for their soon-to-be wards, Calico and Jitter. So as both Kurt and Gambit wait outside, we get an interaction between the 2 young mutants. And during this interaction, Calico shows some growth when she asks Jitter to practice dancing duets with her. As we all know, up to this point, Calico's mother did everything she could to isolate herself from the world. So to see her reach out is a big step in her character. So with that out there, Jitter activated her mutant ability and danced with Calico, and once her ability was spent, she just continued without missing a beat. So with that going down, we then jump over to Ransom making his way down the road with his belongings in hand. And as he walked, Wolverine stopped him and said it looked like he was going somewhere. To which Ransom responded by saying he got his cousin to send a car to pick him up at the junction up ahead. Now to that statement, Wolverine informs Ransom that he hopes he reconsiders what he is about to do. And at that moment Ransom went on to tell Logan everything he heard and continued to say that no one wants him around anyway. Now, if anyone knows that feeling, it would definitely be Wolverine, so before Ransom walked away, Wolverine offers to give him a sandwich for the road, which should buy him enough time to make his argument for why he shouldn't leave. So as they walked, Wolverine stated they lost their leader, they lost their country, and they even lost their way. And as for their home, it was turned into a prison, and on top of that, a major league precog told them that one of the kids at the house was going to be the end of all mutant kind. So they may seem a bit more skittish than usual. Now to this, Ransom replied by saying he can't stay where people think he is a threat or useless. Now the way Ransom believes the X-Men sees him couldn't be further from the truth, because Wolverine stated every time they got into a fight, Ransom was always one of the first ones to jump into battle to make sure his friends were okay. And as for his friends, they look up to him and they need him. And for the record, Wolverine chose him as his first draft pick. So in a display of emotional growth, Wolverine opened up and as Ransom to give them another shot to get things right. And following that outpour of emotion, Ransom took out his phone and called his cousin to cancel the ride set up for him. Now following that, the next morning, we see Jubilee planning on allowing the kids to be kids and go shopping at their local mall to buy themselves some clothes alongside whatever they want to do. But unlucky for the kids, just as soon as they arrived at the mall, the warden's team decided to deploy their wolf pack at the exact location. And as you may have guessed, it took little to no time for the wolf pack to find their targets and attack Ransom out the gate. So with shit popping off, Death Dream sat there a bit cocky and explained how he hates running and his abilities should be strong enough to deal with the wolf pack. But little did he know, his abilities didn't affect non-living threats. So with things going from bad to worse, Calico came out of nowhere and saved Death Dream just in time. Now as this battle raged on, Ransom discovered that these Sentinels were stronger than they thought, because Ransom stated he hit the Sentinel with the same punch that knocked down Wolverine and it didn't even flinch. Following that, Calico took Death Dream to a safe distance, due to his power being useless in a fight against non-organics. Or at least that was what she thought, because one of the wolves appeared right behind Death Dream and went on the attack. So as he ran for his life, we then transitioned over to the Greymalkin's prison where the warden was pissed. In fact, she was so mad that she started to count down from 3 because she wanted to know who authorized the deployment of the wolf pack. And on a side note, in the background of this panel, we see Penance being taken prisoner by the warden, which is wild as hell. But anyway, the warden stressed that they had a whole media campaign set up to announce them to the world. So with that out there, Mr. Trask stated that the answer to why they are out there in public is tricky, because every new generation of prototypes needs to be debugged. So to do that, they sent 4 glitches all to mutant hotspots like Alaska, Chicago, and New Orleans in case some mutants needed a public response. Or something that would justify the kind of firepower the Wolfpack brings. But for some reason, this Wolfpack isn't like the rest, for their AI went wonky. Which ultimately makes this pack different. This pack had an overcalculation in their offensive algorithm, for they trained them like wild dogs, which was their mistake. Because it was like compact Sentinel technology with the instincts of a killer, and to make it worse, it likes the taste of blood. So with that said, this issue of Uncanny X-Men comes to an end with Death Dream dead on the floor with the pack surrounding his body. But anyway, down in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts about this issue and what predictions you could have moving forward. So with that established, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to leave a like and a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.